I think I had a jingle to start this podcast, but I guess I forgot. I mean, just check out like my folders later. Nevertheless, so today, new short story. Artist Instagram to Nike conversion rate is the working title. As you may have noticed, I'm throwing out these short stories every once in a while. I write them, I enjoy that uh, even more than writing essays or speaking essays or what you might call it. That whole process of thought to paper or thought to file. Okay, so this new one, yeah, has some comedy in it, and the other part is really serious because we're talking about geopolitics and individual suffering. So this is a trigger warning. Don't blame me. Blame those that commit all this crap. There we go. Oh, so January 2025, a basement office hidden somewhere in what used to be Gaza City. Now is a wasteland. Abandoned by the original inhabitants and declared an international no man's land from the river to the sea. It's also no woman's land from the river to the sea. It's a no people land from the river to the sea. In the first month after the war, left-wing preppers, driven by an international call, which started by an account Colonial Shield, these preppers are making themselves human shields to a potential third invasion. Settled in what was once a vivid coastal community with bazaars, schools, and merchants from far and near. Through the irony of history, the initial shielders brought their gear and started settling themselves, finding the place to be essential to their cyber warfare against the rising global techno aristocracy. What started as a squatting venture quickly turned into a multi-million Bitcoin funded base camp of the international resistance movement against neoliberalism. Light and Sael are two data analysts who met each other at MIT during a conference on decentralization. Well, actually, they met there in a conference room designed in Roblox, not IRL. They came here 6 months ago as part of a program which recruited them to support journalists investigating the state of infiltration and interconnection of the top IT oligarchs and kings of everyday life. Light, 26, Asian black descent, born in Milwaukee, bright mind, faster than a fiber optic cable, sometimes spiraling into social awkwardness, but the heart in the right place. Suffers from malnutrition due to the extreme diet and the occasional skipping of food. Comes from a rich family but wasn't interested in taking over their parents' real estate business. Was radicalized during George Floyd and is friends with a huge network of activists of the American left and social justice movement. Loves Taylor Swift. Sael, Moroccan-French descent, born in Lille, climate activist with Fridays for Future since day one. Despite their talent for languages and logic, they barely made it through school and dropped out early. Equipped with just an old ThinkPad, they started digging into data sludge. First available on open data platforms, and later on, when their hunger became bigger, through ever more sophisticated leaks and hacks and crawlers. Through the emotional breakdowns of major climate violations, Sael made a name for themselves on YouTube and became an icon of the movement. Sometimes this goes a little bit to their head. Sael hates Taylor Swift's sound, but loves the Swifties, which they learned to instrumentalize by linking memes with Swift lyrics and their own message about climate justice. Sael is, so to speak, more of a social programmer and actually not so good with the code itself. Sael, Hi. Sael keeps staring into her screen with her headphones on. Their mouth is slightly open, pupils wide, as they erratically hack into the keyboard. Light. Do you have a minute? Sael mumbles. Huh? Hey, I need your attention. It's just for a minute. I want to run something by you. Sael, annoyed. What is it? I was just trailing these trolls that were trying to shut down our Mastodon servers. If I don't. I know. Don't worry. I'll help you right after. But come, take a look at this. Sael. What is it? Sael hands, or Light hands Sael a tablet with sketches of equations. Sael begins to read. Taking the first Instagram post of a visual artist, blah, blah, blah. First posting, some way sponsored or commissioned directly through energy. Like, remember how I built that crawler that automatically adapts to API changes on any social media platform? So, any crawler does that nowadays. Like, no, the other one. So the one which was archiving the entire timeline of an account and applying basic taxonomies, like, yes, that one. So what about it? Light. Well, how to put it? Sael, just put it, spit it out already. There's more serious issues going on in my head. Maybe you forgot. We are in the middle of a genocide and now Trump wants to invade. It's all upside down. So, sure. It'll just take a minute. I think it's somehow connected. Like Nike? You don't mean the goddess. So, no, the company, you dummy. Remember, you were trying to figure out why nobody gives a shit about any of the monstrosities that are happening here? Why no one cares? So, yes. But I still don't see it. Like, you don't speak economics well enough, I guess. Like Chang Ha-jun said in his address at the Oxford Union. So, Habibi, it seems like years ago now, ancient history, ancient internet history, ancient history, like in general, this is like grandpa style. Like yeah. Must have been before the pandemic. So, different times, everything changed. There's no rules anymore. Numbers mean nothing if they're not emotionally supported. Like nothing changed. Do you see this here? So, what am I looking at? Light. This is the meridian weights of a prediction I made about Nike stocks. Huh? Light. And this, I plotted all the mentions of Nike on social media at the exact same times. Those two lines are corrected for product placement, and those are the lead to conversion prices per day. That's the cash that flows back to the influencers. So I know that, sure, but why Nike? Light. So I predicted that with every crisis, the price goes down and actually the value of the stock increases. So they're spending less for marketing in times of crisis. So that doesn't make much sense, Light. So did I think, but now I got the numbers. That crawler, what a magnificent beast. So what? So each time a crisis hits, people are forced to leave their homes, move to other countries, lose their jobs, or, well, their businesses. And where do they end up? So, well, the ones that get out now, if they're lucky, possibly to the US, England, Europe, I guess. Light. Because there's jobs. But unless you want to slave out in the Amazon fulfillment center, you have to start educating yourself in the language of economics. So they consume. That's the education you need to survive. Nobody's going to be able to pay their rent from philosophy or art studies. That's for rich ones, those with a background. I guarantee you that even some type of these middle class folks, they all have a side hustle. Sael, You're drifting into pseudo-Marxist bubbling. Get to the point. Well, so they study design. They learn a language of aesthetics. These social media channels are biggest equivalents of a Bauhaus, educating everyone on the aesthetics for the neoliberal age. Like the Bauhaus educated the students about industrial aesthetics. The content age, however, has a different product. It's only a few people that build those platforms, and even fewer that run it, because it's so centralized. But what is still a pure numbers game is the people that create the content. So I got it. You talk about demonetization. I talked to Fair a day before she got killed. She said she doesn't know how to pay for food anymore, but she just couldn't stop creating reels of the attacks and the hunger. I still believe she was targeted, singled out about this as well. It's not just journalists these days. Everyone is a journalist, right? Yes, but an unpaid one. This content fuels a different objective. Whilst, God have mercy on her soul, Sael was before posting about self-made fashion and the hipster community in Gaza City, which made her some good amount of monthly revenue and got her into contact with some sponsors. Remember she did a Nike piece with this Dutch UK rapper kind of vibe and the burqa. The new content wasn't marketable at first. So you're telling me these graphs show that corporations are exploiting us by not paying us, so after we give up, they can pay us less because we are needy, or we end up coming to them by ourselves? No hiring needed, trained by the vision of a better life. Well, better than being bombed to death or starving or being used as a human shield by radicals. That's ironic. It's exactly what I'm saying. So, I think you're going a bit too far. I don't see the relevance of your Nike conversion rate. This here, right? Exactly. This is 100 Instagram accounts of graphic designers and influencers that are at some point starting to post about started posting Nike content or worked on a campaign with them. The x-axis shows dimensions of Nike or artifacts of it. X is amounts of posts from account creation to date of crawl. I justified for date, so I can add events of global scale alongside it, hoping to prove my point of an interconnection. Sael, well, so first things first, it's taking an average of 100.241 postings for all the accounts you tracked, right? Correct. But you see here, I split the accounts into ethical groups and classes based on income. Please don't ask me how I obtained those details. Now, not my point, but clearly the poorer, the faster the conversion rate goes. Some even closing in at 20 to 30 posts. Like here, this is a TikTok superstar, a cabbie. From him posting the first time from an Italian refugee camp to wearing Nike sneakers and pointing at them in just 27 posts. That's impressive. So, good for him. Like, good for Nike too. The center-left liberals on social media love their Nike and they love to endorse their global crisis, calling, reposting, solidarity. Ever since punk rock, crisis is marketable. So these kids are functioning as dual carriers. They raise their own social value by being on the morally right side of whatever their peers believe is the morally right side at the moment, and they will eventually become susceptible for influences. After the crisis, start working freely or cheaply for those major brands. Because all they have learned is the language of economics. Okay, these platforms, everything has an economic purpose. On these platforms, everything has an economic purpose. So even the content that is demonetized. So again, so even the content that is demonetized, light, demonized. Inshallah, we are doomed. Sael? Yes, we are. So where are we going to release this data? Like, I have no fucking idea. So thanks for listening. I'll be posting another story about killer whales, hopefully next week, or maybe I find some time to record it tomorrow. Stranded killer whales, obviously, small killer whales. So they're like a cult. Okay. Nevertheless, if you're in Berlin, text me. I'll be having a small listening session for the album I'm working on. I'm here in a secluded residence. Yeah, so that's me for this week. Aesthetic therapy. I don't know any of this shit. So I'm glad you enjoy listening to my voice. And over and out. I'm gonna put some wood into the fireplace. It's getting cold. Ciao, ciao. Don't forget to vote.